We are back finally. Seems like a long time, but we are back with a early game of 8th edition. So this will be the first of many games. So what we're going to play today is a very simple mission from the new rulebook. It's called Only War. So it's the bog standard one, but it's still very interesting because there's 3 ways to play it. We've already rolled, and it's going to be slay and secure. Those are the objective stipulations for this certain mission, so we'll go through that now. What you do is you place 4 objectives, and we've got them on the table already. So we've got one here, and we've got one here, and one just outside the ammo crates there, and the last one is in that building just over there. So 4 of them have gone down. They're going to be worth 2 points each at the end of the game, and if you slay the warlord, it's worth D3 victory points. So in this mission, it's not required to use what is known as matched play, now known, and but we are going to put ourselves through that funnel anyway. So both armies are battle forged. We're going to use 3 command points each. So command points are various things that you can play in the game to make sure things go your way at dark times. So we'll cover those as they come. So after objectives go down and the mission has been decided, we choose actually how to divide the table up. So we're going for just simple Dawn of War, so long end to wide end. So Chaos are going to be on this side, Ultramarines on this side. Now we're going to come to deployment. What happens is one squad is deployed from one player, then the other player deploys a squad, then backwards and forwards until all of your forces are down. Right, so this is the Ultramarines force, just over 1,000 points. It's 1,081 points to be exact. The power rating is 61. So I believe these will be the underdog in this game. So this is comprised of a battalion detachment, which is sort of like the new combined arms detachment. So the requirements are 2 HQs. So we've got the captain and the ancient, and then 3 troops. So we've got tactical squad here, another, and another. So we've got a Rhino for this 10-man unit. This unit's got a combi grav and a grav. They've got the dedicated Rhino. For the Razorback, we've got this squad. There's a plasma gun, combi plasma for the sergeant. And in the drop pod, we've got another 10-man unit, power sword on the sergeant, and flamer as the special weapon for those. Got an assault unit, 2 flamers in there, sergeant with a power sword. And then we've got a flyer, and it's the Storm Talon with the Skyhammer missiles and the twin-linked assault cannon. So when I say that, this is no longer twin-linked, it's now called just a twin. So assault cannons have gone up by 2 shots, so it's now 6 shots, and it's 6 shots each barrel, so it's 12 shots on that flyer. And that's the same with anything else that was twin-linked. So this heavy bolter fires twice, so that's 6 shots from a heavy bolter. So the assault cannon has went from an assault weapon to a heavy weapon, Now it's important, every heavy weapon, they're mostly the same as they were before in 7th edition. If you move with a heavy weapon, regardless of what kind of model you are, you're going to take a -1 to hit. So there's a few exceptions, but no exceptions here. So we'll try and cover the rules as best we can since it's an early game. And characters is a big thing, are going to go around by themselves, but they do give benefits to squads around. So just to go through the benefits, the captain, if you're within 6 of him, you're going to get to re-roll 1s to hit. The ancient, he also goes around by himself, he's got a power fist, and if you're within 6 of him, you get +1 to your leadership, and you can shoot, or you can attack once in close combat if you're slain, sort of like a personal soul burst, if you will. So we'll tackle that if it comes to fruition in the game. The captain, he's got a combi grav, and he's got a power sword. Comes with an iron halo as standard, and he's wearing power armor, so there's no artificer armor options. Right, we've got Black Legion force here. They're just Chaos Space Marines. There's no specific legion attached to them for now. But here they are, Chaos Space Marines again. 1,000 points, a little bit over. It's 1,051 points, and the power rating is 64. So it's a little bit over, because if you take 6-man squads, which I've done, it doubles your power rating almost for the squad. So it's not advisory to take extra people, but that's what I've done, just to give it a go, see what happens. So these will, the Ultramarines will be the underdogs, and the Chaos will be the overdogs, I suppose, for the lack of a better term. So again, it's a battalion detachment, 2 HQs, we've got the Lord, and the Sorcerer and Terminator armour, and 3 troops of cultists, so we've got 10 man, 20 man with close combat weapons, 10 man with auto guns. So the 10-man squads have auto guns and a stubber, all hand to hands. There's 2 flamers in there. We've got a unit of Chosen here. We've got a 6-man team, 2 bolt guns, lightning claws, power axe and pistol, power fist and pistol, and the aspiring champion, he's got a combi melter and a power axe. They're going to be in a rhino. We've got 6 raptors. They've got a power sword for the champion, and there's a melter gun in there as well. And we've got the Forge Fiend, and he's got the ectoplasm cannon Maw thing. Spits out a plasma, kind of heavy plasma kind of shot. So for the Chaos Lord, he's got a plasma pistol and a power sword. Sorcerer, he's got a combi flamer and a force stave. So the rule that Chaos have, it's, well, the Marines that is, anyway, they've got Death of the False Emperor. If you hit in combat on a 6, it gives you an extra attack to try and hit with. Which brings us to the marks. So these have got an icon of Slaanesh, should we say. We're going to put the icon on the champion, because he's more than likely going to live forever. So that makes that go to a 5. So on a 5 or a 6 in combat, these are going to get to hit once more, or attempt to hit once more. The Raptors, they're going to have the icon of Khorne for the champion, so they're going to get a reroll charge ranges for the icon. So few things are different in the game. There's nothing much to mention on the Chaos side. They're all just game mechanics that are going to change. But the things that are similar to what you might see is, again, the Warlord, alternative to a captain, the Lord, he's going to give out the same boon as a Space Marine captain. So it's, if you're within 6, you're going to get a reroll 1s to hit. The Sorcerer, he would be level 2, as it would be known in 7th. So he knows automatically the power called Smite, which is quite deadly. We should see that in the game. And he knows 2 other powers. So the difference between 7th and 8th is you can actually pick your psychic powers. So there's a table of 3 to choose from. So what we're going to go for is Warp Time. Allows you to move again in the psychic phase. You can select a unit within 3 inches of him to do that. Or there's Prescience. It's not what it used to be. It's a little bit different. You select a unit within 18 and they get a +1 to hit. So psychic phase works a little bit differently as well, but we will cover that when it happens. Okay, so we've done deployment now. Chaos have to set up a unit first, and then the Ultramarines do. There's no real tactical thing we can say, it's just units going down. You can clump your cultists together, because I'm sure everyone knows already, blast templates and such are gone. So this is a force of habit, putting your character at the back. That's no longer necessary, because when you take casualties, you can take whoever you want in that squad. So it's not the nearest anymore. So these habits of putting your characters at the back just aren't needed anymore. So cultists, they've been set up, ready to just flood into the open ground. And we've got the Chosen and the Chaos Lord in this Rhino. We've got the Forge Fiend with a good Art of Fire there. This is the good thing about setting up alternatively. You don't know where this is going to go, so the Ultramarines set up this Razorback in the distance before they knew where this was. So there is tactical play before the game even begins. And in reserve, as it's known, we're just going to call it reserve, we've got the Sorcerer in Terminator armour. He's ready to deep strike in. You can come in from reserve at the end of your movement phase, so that's at any time up until turn 3, where you are destroyed if you don't come on the board. But it's your choice, so if you don't come on the board, then that means you need to be turned into a servitor, I think. We've got the Raptors there in the sky as well. They're ready to come in from deep strike. So the Ultramarines, they've got a drop pod with 10 guys in, ready to come in at the end of any of their movement phases. And we've got unit of 10 in this Rhino. Captain's just looking on. Got the Razorback that's got the 2 plasma guns in. We've got the Ancient and the jump packs here, and we've got the Flyer right in the corner. So this is very fast and still quite good. And Ultramarines get to choose to go first because they are the underdog. They could choose to go second in this game. It does last only 5 turns, no more. So they're going to go first still, with that in mind. And there's no steal the initiative in this mission. Right, the Ultramarines have completed their move in turn 1. So the Rhino and the jump packs have gone forward from this area here. The Ancient isn't quite fast enough. His banner must be catching the wind, so he's just a little bit out of step. You do run in your movement phase now. It's called an advance, so you do that all together. It's no longer in the shooting phase. So that's what's happened here. They've ran or advanced 3 inches there. He tried to do so, but as we said, he's a bit too slow with his power fist. This Razorback goes forward 12. Flyer comes forward as well. And this unit disembarked at the start of the movement phase from this Rhino. You disembark 3 inches and then you can move as normal. So they're now occupying this structure. There's no dangerous terrain or penalty to your movement when you go through terrain now. You just move your full move. So that's how they're up so high. It's a nice little addition. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff anymore. And the drop pod comes down at the end of your movement phase. You don't have to bring your drop pod down, but that's what's happened here. So it's come down at the end of the movement phase, and it's within 3 inches of this objective, still working like the classic drop pod does. And there's no scatter for your units. As long as you end your move at the end of your movement phase, as long as your reserve comes in, outside of 9 inches of all enemy units, you can do that. That includes the disembarking unit. So the only thing this unit can do is disembark, because the movement phase is now ended. So they get out 3, and they've got a good line of sight on that massive rabble of cultists. So the captain, he's gone through the front door, and he's out the front now. So he's, because of where he is, he's positioning. He is going to be offering a 6-inch radius of reroll 1s. So already he's coming straight into play. And it is worth mentioning, you would never do this in 7th edition, have your character hanging out the front. But you can't target the character with shooting if there's other visible units available. So it doesn't matter about him being out there in the open, there's still nearer units. So he can never be targeted unless he is the nearest unit, visible unit. Okay, so for shooting, the Ultramarines are going to open up with the Storm Talon first. So, much like, well, much like heavy vehicles in the old edition super heavy vehicles, each unit can fire all of its weapons at different targets. You do have to declare before you open fire if you think of it like a super heavy. So this is what the Storm Talon's done. All weapons are firing at this Rhino, wants to stop this dead in its tracks. So the assault cannon, still 24-inch range, we're going to have to check that. So it's still within 24-inch range, so it's still there. Assault cannons now get 6 shots each, and it's no longer twiddling like I said earlier. It's a double assault cannon, so that's going to be 12 shots. It needs 3s to hit, but it's a heavy weapon, so because it moved, it's got a -1, so it's hitting on 4s. But the Storm Talon has the equivalent now of what was Strafe and Run. So if you're shooting at ground targets, then you get +1 to your ballistic skill. So we're back where we started, hitting on 3s. So it's a pretty good roll, just a couple of misses in there. Okay, so there was 2 1s in there. You can re-roll them because of the captain. Re-rolled them, only got 1 extra one. So that leaves us with 9 hits on the Rhino. It's strength 6, the assault cannon still. But what is different is vehicles no longer have an armor value. So they're now toughness, just like any other model. This Rhino is toughness 7 against strength 6. So the Storm Talon's going to need 5s to wound this. And that's a poor roll, only 1 5. Right, only 1 wound there from the Storm Talon. That was pretty disappointing for the Ultramarines. It's AP -1. So you take your your saving throw, which is a 3+ for a Rhino. It's AP -1, the assault cannon these days. So it will be saving on a 4. And we make it on a 5. So no damage, but we've still got the Skyhammer missiles to fire on this. So 3 Skyhammer missiles. They're suffering the same stipulations as the assault cannon before, so they are heavy weapons and they've moved. So, and with the strafe and run involved, you're looking at 3s. But Skyhammer, if you're not firing at airborne targets who fly, you suffer a further -1 penalty. So these Storm Skyhammer missiles, they're hitting on 4s. So 3 shots with these, and there's 2 hits to get a reroll that 1. So you just want to do that. So there's 3 hits. That's good shooting from that one. It's strength 7 Skyhammer against toughness 7, so needing 4s to convert. Right, so there's 2 wounds. Right, 2 wounds from the Skyhammer missiles at -1 AP, much like the assault cannon, so needing 4s to save with these. Okay, so we save 1, 1 goes through. So normally that would be 1 wound, but weapons now have a damage profile, so this is a good example of damage. So Skyhammer gets D3 damage. So what's he going to get? That's a full 3, so where 1 wound would have just been 1 wound, it's now 3 bits of damage on this Rhino. So it's suffering some wounds. Rhinos do have 10, so there's still 7 left. They're quite robust these days. Alright, so this Rhino is going to come under even more fire. The Razorback is going to fire the twin heavy bolters. That's 6 shots. Again, it's a heavy weapon and it moved, so where normally you'd be hitting on 3s, hitting on 4s. So 6 shots this time. So reroll 1s because the captain is poked his head out the door. Alright, so that's a miss. So 4 hits, and this is strength 5 versus toughness 7. So normally that would have been a 6 to wound in 7th edition, but that's not the case in 8th. You're wounding on 5s. Alright, that's pretty good. 3 wounds on this Rhino. It's only damage 1, so these will only cost 1 hull point or wound each. -1 AP, so saving on 4s again for this Rhino. That's not good. 3 just carved straight through that Rhino. It's got 6 wounds now, only 4 left. Right, it's time to pick on something a little bit more softer now. These cultists are going to come under fire from the drop pod unit. There's 8 bolters to fire, so they'll be hitting on 3s just as usual. And the reroll 1s because the captain is within 6, so the captain's placing himself well. There's another hit. Bolt gun, still strength 4, needing 3s to wound these cultists. Right, he's got all of them, all 4. There's one just creeping around there. So bolt guns don't have an AP anymore, they're just AP dash. Cultists have a 6+ save, so they can survive if I was to roll the 6, but that's not the case. So 4 die, so what I can do is I can choose to take them off the back. Just feels like cheating, but it's not. Right, the cultists are the victims of targeting from the drop pod, but no hits. This squad inside the building, they do the same. 6 shots with reroll 1s, only came up with 3 wounds on these cultists. So there's no save for intervening terrain or anything, so they're saving on 6s again. Nope, 3 of them drop. So this is crucial. Where normally you wouldn't care about cultists. Every guy dead is a big hit on your leadership, which we'll probably find out. Alright, these were targeted with only 6 bolt guns, so the other bolt guns were designated towards these. So the shot down here got rerolls because of the captain on 1s and came away with 2 wounds. So the squad is wholly in cover, so normally they'll get a 6 save. If you're in cover, what it is now is you just get a +1 to your save. So saving on 6s with a +1, saving on 5s. And we still don't do anything. So 2 more cultists drop from a different squad this time. Right, these cultists coming under more fire from the Rhino in the distance, fires the bolter off the top, gets 1 hit, 1 wound. Saving on 6, and we get it this time. That's good. So we wouldn't have been able to save on the cover save because one of the cultists was out in the open, therefore the whole squad will not get a cover save. That's how it seems to be. It seems really weird, but that's what it is. But we saved anyway, so that's the good news. Right, so that is the end of the turn for the Ultramarines. So it's morale checks now because it's the end of the turn. I lost 1 out of this squad, so I'm going to roll a dice. So 1, and then you add how many casualties you took. Actually, I took 2 casualties from this unit, so that's a 3. Cultists have a leadership of 6 with the champion still intact, so they pass. These different situation. We've lost how many? 7 out of this squad. So we are only leadership 6. So because we're only leadership 6 and we've lost 7, we're automatically going to lose 1 guy, and then we're going to lose an extra person for whatever I get on the dice roll. So there's another 4 gone. So that is pretty devastating. Okay, so we're taking lots of casualties, and the morale check was bad as well. So we're left with lower than half the squad left, but they do hold. They're not going to run off the board, so that is the difference for leadership. Right, we've got Chaos turn 1, so we've moved the cultists who came under fire. They advanced as well, so they've got right up against the wall. Hopefully they can survive a little bit longer. These cultists move up and into the building. This Forge Fiend is staying still because he's got heavy weapons as well, so we're not wanting to worsen our ballistic skill. We're already a demon hitting on 4s, we don't want to move and make that worse. The Rhino, because it's taken 6 wounds, it's now reduced in speed, where it could normally move 12. It can now only go 6, so it's went 6 there, and then we advanced as well, so we've got 5 inches on our advance. So that was pretty good. Our ballistic skill on the Rhino is worsened as well, so that's now hitting on 4s. This cultist unit, they stay still. So at the end of the moving phase, we beamed in from teleport pads elsewhere on the Spirit of Vengeance, however they come from. There he is, the sorcerer. He's beamed down, and he's within range of this to do a psychic power. So what we're going to do is prescience. We're going to try and bump his get a +1 to hit for him, so make his ballistic skill even better. So what you do is you roll 2 dice, and if you pass, the value is 7 for this specific psychic power, so we need a 7 or more, and we do not get it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a command reroll to reroll this 3. So it's going to cost 1 of me command points, so 1 of 3 have gone now, and we're going to see if we can reroll this to get a 4. No, so we've wasted that command point, unfortunately, and that's not going to be. So we can do another psychic power for 1. You can cast 2, and I don't think we should do it. So we're not going to do any more psychic powers this time. So scratch that. We will do another psychic power. We've got a range of 18 with smite, so we'll have to target the nearest unit, which is going to be the flyer, and this comes off on a 5. So that comes off, but it is a Perils of the Warp. If you roll a double 6 or a double 1, it's not nice. So what we're going to have to do is take D3 mortal wounds. So 1 mortal wound, which means I do not get a save whatsoever, even though he's in Terminator armour and he's got an invulnerable save. A mortal wound just goes straight through that. So because we didn't die off that Perils of the Warp, the power still does come off, thankfully. So strange luck from this sorcerer not getting that off, the first power, but he's perils and he's caused himself a wound. Let's see if it's worth it. So what it is, it's just a straight D3 wounds on this flyer. So that's a 4. So we're going to get 2 mortal wounds, which means there's no save allowed whatsoever. So it's taking 2 points of damage. Okay, we're going to fire the Forge Fiend then. It's going to have all weapons fire at the Storm Talon. So the Hades autocannon still got 4 shots, but we've got 2 of them, so it's 8 shots in total. We'll be hitting on 4s because we're a demon standing still with our heavy weapon. But we've got a -1 to hit against flyers because they're hard to hit. So needing 5s. If only we got that psychic power off, we'd only need 4s. But here we are, needing 5s. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I've got 3 hits. And it's strength 8. And the flyer is only toughness 6, I believe. Is that right?
It's toughness 6.
Toughness 6, right. So we're still needing 3s with our strength 8. And that isn't good. Only 1 point of... only 1 wound, sorry. And you're going to need to save on a 4 because it's AP -1. So that is saved, so no damage anyway. Let's try the ectoplasm cannon. This has got a random amount of shots, D3. So that's a cocked die. Right, we're going to get 3 shots out of it. Again, this is hitting on 5s against the flyer. And no good shots whatsoever out of him. So it's not been a good turn for Chaos so far. Got a few trivial auto guns to fire about. Alright, so I've had a stubber from here at the flyer, because you can shoot things that wouldn't normally be a target previously with such a weak weapon, but they can hurt it, but we're missed anyway. So now we've got auto guns at this unit. It just come out the drop pod. We've already fired the stubber, but didn't hit. We've got a few auto guns to try and humble them. So we've got 4 hits because we're hitting on 4s. And it's still 5s to wound, nothing changes that much. 2 wounds. Space Marines saving on 3s because this has no armour penetration. So they save, no damage. So not very good turn at all from the Black Legion there. We're not bringing the Raptors in just yet. We do have the choice to bring them in at turn 1, but we're just going to bide our time a little bit, let the game mature. But that wasn't good. Pretty much damaged ourselves with the Sorcerer, only caused 2 wounds on that flyer, so not good. Alright, turn 2 for the Ultramarines, and they're all pulling over to the left, it seems. This squad that's just come out the drop pod, they're holding tight where they are, expecting these chosen to come out of this Rhino anytime soon. The captain feels the need to come over and hold the line with them as well. Jump packs are jumping across. This squad's still holding the building quite nicely. And then this squad comes out of the Razorback with their double plasma gun. They're going to try and challenge this Forge Fiend. This Rhino pulls back. It's got a shot at the cultists, and what it's ultimately trying to do is create a denial zone, so these raptors, who are eventually going to come in, can't come down within 9 inches of a unit. So there's a denial zone going on here. The Ultramarines are thinking ahead, and the flyer flies from over here to over here. So it goes a minimum of 20, and it's now different for flyers. Well, for every vehicle. Every vehicle has a 360-degree arc of fire, just like monsters used to do, since they've all got wounds now. So all weapons can fire this way. You've just got to imagine it sweeping in on an arc like that, and as it's curving in, it's going to fire at that distant machine, or it might even fire at the Rhino. It hasn't declared its target yet. Shooting phase of the Ultramarines. This squad from out of the drop pod are going to fire at this Rhino. So the flamer is opening up, and you don't use a template anymore. What you do is you roll a d6 for this flamer, and that's how many shots it gets. The Ultramarine players rolled a 3, so it's got 3 shots. Automatic hits, needing 5s to wound this Rhino. It's got 1, they're doing well on this Rhino. Need to save on a 3, that's our armor save, and we save. So a lot more bolt guns, these will be hitting on 3s, wounding on 5s. Right, so from a load of rapid firing bolt guns, hitting on 3s, wounding on 5s, they've achieved 5 wounds on the Rhino, so again saving on 3s. And we'll get all of them but 1, so we've got 3 wounds left now in this Rhino. Right, so the Rhino's only got 3 wounds left. The flyer is dedicating all of its firepower, sorry, not all of it, but the assault cannon at the Rhino and the Skyhammer missiles at the Demon engine. So the assault cannons come through first. It's 12 shots hitting on 3s, and that looks okay. Alright, so 9 hits in total. After all of that was a few 1s which were re-rolled because of the captain, so 9 is how many's hit. Needing 5s to wound. That's pretty good.
That is good.
4 to try and save. So this is AP1. I need to save these because I've only got 3 left. So saving on 4s. We're hanging on with our last wound. Well, we've got 1 wound left on this Rhino, and the drop pod can hurt it these days. So the Storm Bolters are very, very good now. They're now rapid fire too, so we are within close range, so it's going to get 4 shots from the drop pod, hitting on 3s. And there's 2 hits, 2 1s, need to be re-rolled because the captain is nearby. And 3 hits, needing 5s. It says 1. So it's come down to this, has it? Just 1 dice to save on a 3, to see if this Rhino survives.
Oh!
So what that means is we've got to disembark, but before we do, there's 7 models on board. There's the Lord and the Chosen. So you gather how many dice you've got models on board, so that's 7. And then you roll a dice for each model. So any 1s are going to be slain models. So we do not lose any in the explosion. That's very lucky. So the Rhino's removed, and the Chosen and the Lord have to get out 3. Alright, so there we are, we're out. The Rhino didn't explode, and there was nobody around it, even if it did. So they're out now, but I don't think much has got to fire at them. So we've still got the Skyhammer missiles to resolve against the Forge Fiend. So these are hitting on 4s. So there's 1 hit, reroll 1s. So 2 hits in total. Strength 7 against toughness 7. So no, saves. Well, is saved from the poo dice rolling there. Right, so next we've got these 2 plasma guns. They're going to fire at the Mauler Fiend, and what they're going to do is they're going to overcharge. So it's new rules for plasma weaponry. It's the same profile as before if you want to fire normally, but you don't get hot. If you supercharge, then you do get hot, but your strength 8 and damage 2, which is pretty important if you're going to target a vehicle. But if you roll a 1 when you hit, then you are slain outright. No armor save, you're just slain. But because the captain's on hand, he's going to be able to make them reroll those 1s. So it's all going well for the Ultramarines for positioning. So these 2 plasma guns, it's strength 8, going to open up on these. So hitting on 3s, 2 hits, no gets hot whatsoever. Wounding on 3s because this is only toughness 7. There's 2. And this has normally got an armor save of 3, the Forge Fiend, but it's AP -3 for the plasma gun, so we'll be saving on a 6. However, this does have an invulnerable 5 save. Okay, we'll save 1 of them. So because it's damage 2, we're going to take 2 points of damage. Alright, we've got the Razorback with the twin heavy bolter. It's going to have a shot at this. It hasn't moved this turn, so it's going to be on full ballistic skill. So 6 shots hitting on 3s. And there's 4 hits. And wounding on 5s. What's that? No, just 1. So this is AP -1, so we're saving on a 4. And we do save it, so this is rock solid, this machine. Right, so the Chosen squad are going to come under fire from the Marines in this building. Miraculously, they can fire. They can see through the drop pod, just little tiny holes of light peeking through. So 2 grav guns have opened fire. Grav guns are not what they used to be, but they're still good. Range 18 and strength 5, AP -3. So only one's hit and wounded. So we would be normally saving on a 6 for being minus AP 3, but we've got intervening cover with the drop pod, so we're saving on a 5. And we save luckily. That's very lucky. So we've now got a load of bolt guns coming their way. Right, bolt guns through the drop pod. A lot of them firing. Again, rerolling 1s for the captain. Wounded on 4s, but only 3 wounds this time. We're saving on 3s because of our armour, but because there's cover in the way, we're saving on 2s. That's how it works these days. So we've saved them all. So these chosen wearing the Terminator armour for just a split second. Right, Chaos turn 2, hardly moving. Only things that really move is the Chosen. They've decided that this channel is just total death, so they're not going up there. We've tried to advance, only rolled a 1 for each squad member. Even the Lord only rolled 1, so they're not getting away. That's terrible news. The cultists, they've moved up the wall trying to block line of sight there. These are just staying put as well, because we are on an objective there. These staying put as well, just keeping their nose clean. We're not bringing in the Raptors this turn either. There's just no clear case to put them down. Just if we put them down, we're going to lose them. Since we've got the last turn, try and play this one tactically. So we're going to move on to the Psychic phase. We're going to try and do Prescience again on this Forge Fiend. So again, we need, it's Warp Charge 7, or the value is 7, so we're going to need that, and with Perils again. So what we're going to do is we're going to re-roll this with a strategy command point, the command re-roll. Here we go, try and get a 6, a miraculous 6, and we do, so we've passed on a 7. Oh, change of fortune. Alright, so that comes off and we don't kill ourselves. That's always good. So he's now firing a little bit better. We're now going to do Smite on the drop pod because we can see it. So this comes off on a 5. So that comes off just. So D3 mortal wounds on the drop pod. It's going to take 3. Alright, so we're feeling pretty desperate here. We fired all of the auto guns and heavy stubber at the unit with the plasma guns right in front of them. No damage whatsoever. So we can't allow those 2 plasma guns to live when the Chosen are just around the corner. So we have to fire all weapons at that squad with the plasma guns. We wanted to fire at the flyer, but it's just not going to happen. We need to take out that unit. So again, 8 shots between the 2 guns, and hitting on 3s because Prescience came off this time. So that's pretty good. All but 2, and wounded on 2s because these are strength 8, and some 1s in there. So 4 wounds, saving on 4s. It's AP -1. Right, so kill 2, 2 save, of course, because you can pick who you want. It's not going to be the plasmas. So we've got the ectoplasm cannon to do it all here. It needs D3 shots. It only gets 2. Hits on 3s. Oh, only get 1. Wound on a 3. It's only strength 7. Do get that. It's AP -3, so you're getting a save of a 6. No, so 1 further bolt gun dies. So we've killed everyone but the bolt guns. That's not good news. Okay, well we wish we just took the bull by the horns and just assaulted that unit now and just took the consequences, but now we're stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Those plasmas are still going to remain. They've got a leadership of 8. They've lost 3. Let's see what they get on their leadership test. So 4 plus 3 is 7. They're good, not going to fall back or anything, so they're still active, those plasma guns, and there's nothing further we can do. So that wasn't a good turn either, so there's been 2 nasty turns from the Black Legion there. turn 3 for the Ultramarines now. So this squad coming out of the drop pod on the first turn, they're now moving around. They can see some chosen, so they're going to target them. And the flyer is pulled back. It's gone into a hover mode, and it can only see the Lord, so it's going to target the Lord, which is the worst thing that could happen in this mission as well, since he's worth D3 victory points. So it's not going well whatsoever for the Black Legion. With the surviving plasmas, they're moving down. They're in rapid fire range of the chosen as well, so more hard times for them. The captain looks like he's staying still, just giving everyone that re-rolls, and everyone else just holds position, looks like. So more bolter gun shots coming in, more Black Legion Ts, I think. Alright, so we're going to open fire with the plasma guns first. They're not going to supercharge because these don't have any more than one wound, so it's not beneficial to do so. So ordinary plasmas, they're not afraid to get hot, and there's one out in the open, whereas he would get a cover save. So my interpretation of it is these don't actually get a cover save at all against these plasma guns. So if that seems weird, but that seems to be how it is. Hopefully I get proved wrong in the future, but that's how we're going to play it for today. So we've got 2 plasma guns firing in, 4 shots at rapid fire. There's 3 hits, wounding on 3s. Okay, that's the full 3. Saving on 6 for these chosen, and not a sausage. All 3 fail. So we can choose who we want to see go down. So it's going to be the basic bolters and this power axe chap here. So 3 go down with minimal effort. Right, so the Ultramarines have now fired this unit. There was a flamer, got 3 wounds, and the bolt guns get an extra 7. So we've got 10 wounds to save. It's not as bad as it could be because we are obscured by the terrain, so we are going to get a 2+ cover save, but this is bound to be nasty. So 3 fails in there, 3 ones. There's the Black Legion chosen, slaughtered. Right, so really wish we charged those now with those chosen and didn't bottle it and try and get around the crates to survive a bit, but they're dead now. So we've got the Storm Talon firing at the Lord because he's the closest visible unit, so he's going to take horrendous damage. He's got 12 shots from the assault cannon, hitting on 3, so that's all but 2. And he's wounding on 3s against the Lord because it's strength 6. So we've got 7 wounds in total. 8 wounds in total. This is bad, very bad. 7 on 3s. And he's taken, actually no, we're 7 on 4s because it's AP 4. We did have our Iron Halo, but we've died anyway. So captains normally have, or lords normally have 5 wounds these days, but there's 6 wounds just straight through, doesn't even need the missiles. The Lord has fallen, and that means it's D3 victory points for the Ultramarines, which is big licks in this mission. So they're going to get the full 3, so I think it's going to be pretty impossible for the Black Legion to do anything about that. So that was a horrendous move by me, not charging those, and now we've paid the ultimate price and lost the Warlord, lost our best fighters. Right, so this cultist squad comes under some fire, so the twin bolter fires at them first has caused 3 wounds. We're going to need to save on 6s. We would be saving on 5s in cover, but it's AP -1. So we do actually save 2. So 1 dies. Surprising results. But then the bolters fire across the street in that building there. They've got 7 wounds in total. We'll have to save on 5s because AP nothing for these bolt guns. It's actually a decent roll. Only 3 die, but that's going to be enough to make the morale check scary because we've lost 4 now. Okay, so yet another devastating phase turn even from the Ultramarines. It's now time for morale checks. We lost 4 cultists here, and that brings us to 7. And we are only leadership 6 for these cultists these days, so we've lost another. So we've only got 3 left in the under the level there. So we've only got 3 left. Losing cultists fast here. Right, really desperate now. In turn 3 for Black Legion. The cultists over here staying put, staying out of sight, out of mind hopefully. The sorcerer's gotten to the window. We're going to try and do something about those 2 plasma guns. And the Forge Fiend has moved over here, so we didn't want to move him. He's now at a -1 to hit. Hopefully we can get a psychic power off again. And the Raptors, they come down. So they're outside of 9 inches. Crucially, he's a tactic. Stay outside of 8 inches of the flamer and you will not be overwatched because it's not in range anymore. So outside of 9, we've just got to make it through some bolt guns. We've got the icon of corn, so we can re-roll our charge range. So we're going to try and get our revenge on those Ultramarines. So that's about it. This unit of cultists stays still as well. We've just got to try and survive here any way we can. Right, so we're going to do psychic powers. We're going to do smite on this unit here. See if we can get them. So we need a 5 to pull this off. We do, it's a 10, that's good. If we've got over 10, then it would spell trouble for them, but not quite. But we do pass it, so it's going to be D3 mortal wounds for them. So that's 3, so the squad is wiped out. So those plasmas finally go down. Right, we're going to do prescience now. So this is value 7, sorry. So we're going to need 7 to pass this, make this hit. I get +1 for this to hit, should we say. So no, doesn't work. So what we'll do is we'll use our last command point to re-roll this. No, still no dice. Oh, okay, so it's not going well for this sorcerer either, so it's an army-wide thing. Not going well. Alright, so we're going to have the Forge Fiend open fire first. So we're going to fire the Hades auto cannons at the flyer, and then we're going to do the ectoplasm cannon at the drop pod, see if we can do some damage against that. So the Hades auto cannons, right, so we're needing a 4 to hit. We've moved with a heavy weapon, so that means we're on 5. And the aircraft is actually in hover mode, so it's no longer hard to hit. So it's still hitting on 5s against it. Whoops. Alright, we've got 3 hits. Strength 8, we're needing 3s to wound. So there's 2 wounds, saving on 4s because it's AP -1. And fails 1, passes 1, so there's a further 2 hull points to it. It's worth noting that I forgot to mention, this actually heals a wound at the start of every turn. So it's fresh as a daisy now. It repaired those 2 wounds it formerly had. But that's not going to help the situation. We didn't shoot our flyer down, but we've damaged it a little bit. We've got D3 shots from the ectoplasm cannon firing at the drop pod. We get 2 shots. We're hitting on 5s with this against the drop pod because we moved with a heavy weapon. And we get 2 hits anyway. So this is strength 7 against toughness 6 of a drop pod. So needing 3s, not a sausage. Bad, bad. Alright, we're going to do Raptors. They're going to fire the pistols into the Ultramarines. So I've got a melter gun. Has missed. And bolt pistol. So 4 hits. 4s to wound. So there's 3 wounds on the Ultramarines to save on 3s.
3?
Yeah. And all save. So just cannot do any damage whatsoever. We've got a stubber through the gap at the Ultramarines. Let's see if we can shave off just one in an insulting cultist kill. No, he can't wound either. So yeah, that seems to be the story. Right, we're firing the heavy stubber at the flyer. We've actually got 3 hits already. It can hurt it on a 5. If we just cause a hull point, we'll be happy. Oh, look at that, 2 wounds. It's saving on 3s. If he fills one of these, and he doesn't. Oh. Right, let's try auto gun. Hit. No. Right, terrible. We're going to try a bolt gun from the sorcerer at it. He's missed. So he hasn't hit yet with his gun. Just busy smiting people. Right, if we just got a wound on the flyer, it would have taken it down a peg on its effect.
On its wounds, yeah.
On its wounds, so it wouldn't be as effective. If we just got that wound, it would have been hitting on 4s for the rest of the game. So that is a real shame that we didn't get that. Maybe we should have done the ectoplasm cannon against it. But hey, we haven't done it. It's still active, and we're now going to pay the price. Right, we're going to go into the assault phase then. These Raptors are going to charge into these Ultramarines. and they will overwatch apart from the flamer, luckily, because we're outside of that 8-inch range. Right, so here's the overwatch on the Raptors. Loads of bolt gun shots. Oh, only 2 hit. Reroll ones because the captain is in proximity. So 3 rerolls to do. Okay, still 2 wounds, 2 hits rather. Let's see if we can get those wounds. I'm needing 4s. Only 1 wound, but even 1 raptor at this point would be devastating. And 1 raptor is what happens, so we just can't roll any dice, it seems. So we're going to take away the melter gun because he hasn't got an extra attack. I know it seems ridiculous, but at this point, if we don't make this charge, then the game is seriously over. So we've got a 9-inch charge to make. Let's hope we can make it. Not at all. We've got the icon of corn, so we'll get to re-roll that. And we do make it, so we've just got there. Thankfully, it's happened. Right, here we are in combat. We've made it. Because we're charged, we instantly activate, which means we'll pile in 3, so we're all in nicely. And we get to attack first, because those are the new rules. So we've got a power sword in now for this raptor. He's hitting on 3s. He's got a double 6. That is really important, because each 6 is death from the Emperor, which means we're getting extra 2 times to try and hit. So if we can get these to hit as well, we do. Of course, if we roll further 6s, they don't keep on getting hits, they don't keep on going. That couldn't get any better from him, so we're needing 4s to wound. Come on. He is supreme. He's heard my mourning, and he's repaid us in kind. So we've got 4 hits there, 4 wounds. And you're saving on 6s because a power sword is serious business these days. Oh, it's AP -3.
You got the best blue dice for this one.
6s to save, 3 go down. That's pretty good. And now we've got all the other raptors. They've got 1 attack each, and they've all got chain swords, so they're getting extra attack on top of that. So 8 attacks coming their way. Hopefully we can roll a load of 6s again. Oh, well, that's not bad. 3 6s. And we get another 2 wounds, 2 hits. So if only we did charge with the chosen, we're seeing how well this could have went. But my bad tactics have got us here. But the raptors are trying to get us out of it. And God bless them, or Chaos God bless them. So we've got 4 wounds, saving on 3s for the Ultramarines. 1 more goes down. Alright, so the Ultramarines, there's no other charges to make and there's no other combats to be done. So the Ultramarines are now triggered to fight. So they pile in 3, which they have done. They have to pile in as close as they can, which is actually taking them out of range of the captain. So he's not going to give them reroll 1s here. So we've got the power sword from the tactical sergeant. He's hitting on 3s. He's only got 2 attacks, but he's hit with all 3. So 2 attacks there. He's needing 4s again. And he's only wounded once. Need to save this on a 6 because it's AP3. No, we've lost another raptor. We can take it from anywhere, so we're going to take it from here. And then there's 5 basic attacks now from Blue Marines with the combat knives. Here they go. So they've hit 4 times, needing 4s to wound. It's a pretty good effort from them. 2 wounds, saving on 3s for the raptors. Both save, so we've held on. Alright, well that's the end of that combat. The way there's no winner and loser of the combat, just both sides have taken damage, therefore both sides have to do some morale tests. So the raptors lost 2 this turn, because you added up through all the phases. So we lost 1 raptor from the overwatch, 1 raptor in the combat. So we roll a 3, plus 2 is a 5, we're definitely okay. Ultramarines, they lost 4, but because they're within an inch of the raptors, they have to take a further -1, so that would be classed as losing 5. So what are they going to get?
5 plus 1.
5 plus 1, so they are just fine. So it's all going well for the Ultramarines, even morale checks. We're hoping that would have been a really high dice and got some really expensive morale failures, but not to be. So after the Ultramarines have fought, they just pile in 3 and that rounds off the assault phase. So that's everything done now. It's now Ultramarines turn 4. Okay, so the Black Legion have been on the back foot the entire game, and now the Ultramarines are going to come in for the kill and blow. So the captain, the ancient, and the assault squad are coming round to take these traitors down. There's not a lot the Raptors can do about that. That's just definitely their doom. The Ultramarines from here, they come down. You can just pass through terrain as infantry, and they move 6 onto this objective. So what they're looking to do is cancel out the hidden cultist squad that was behind here all this time. We're going to try and spring out there when the time was right, because we pretty much can't do anything else with cultists. They're so bad, and they're just being outmaneuvered there with the Ultramarines. We have to pull out something special. We do have 2 flamers in there, but the Ultramarines aren't bothered. They're starting to move out onto the objective. And the flyer moves down here. Again, nearest unit. The character, who couldn't normally be targeted, but because he's the closest and visible model, he's open to be shot at, so he's going to suffer the same fate as the Chaos Lord probably. So it's not a good day to be a character in the Chaos. In fact, it's not a good day to be anybody in Chaos. So we're going to see the Ultramarines just put these away. Alright, so we've got 12 shots from the assault cannon, hitting on 3s against the sorcerer. And not so good this time. He's not re-rolling 1s because he's nowhere near the captain this time. So there is 6 hits, so that's half. So he's wounding on 3s against the sorcerer. But that is good wounding. There's 4 wounds. So because he's in Terminator armor, he's saving on 2, but it's AP -1, therefore he's saving on 3s. And we take a single wound. Okay, I've got the Skyhammer missiles. These are hitting on 4s. So these are deadly. So 2 hits. And wounding on 3s, because it's only strength 7 against my toughness 4. They do not wound, so the sorcerer lives on.
Whoa.
Slips through the Ultramarines' grasp.
For now.
Will the Ultramarines falter in this turn? That they should be eradicating every person in black armour. Hopefully. In a small voice, hopefully.
So fire all of these on.
Alright, so this tactical squad here, you're going to try and target the sorcerer. For that to happen, this heavy bolter, this twin heavy bolter is going to have to blow away those 3 cultists in the window. So there's 6 shots at them, 5 hits, 5 wounds. So can these cultists in the window save, or have they put themselves in the window to be had? So saving on 6s, because we won't be saving on 5s, but it's AP1, a heavy bolter.
And the red light's gone out.
And the shop closes and they're taken out. So the sorcerer is now available to be shot by the tacticals, because he's the nearest visible unit, because you can't see these cultists behind this wall. So he's going to have to stay strong again. Alright, sorcerer, he's going to have to take 2 grab shots here. So grab's hitting on 3s. Missed with 1, but 1 hit, strength 5, needing a 3 to wound. Does wound, right, the AP -3, so that would leave us on a 5+ save, but we are behind a wall, which gives us a 4+ save. And we'll fail it, and I don't know if the sorcerer can take any more. How many wounds has he got? Sorcerer has only, God, he's got 5 wounds. Wow, I thought he only had 4 there. But he's still hanging on. But actually no, it's D3 grav gun, where it is good. If you've got an armor save that's 3 or better, you actually get 3 damage. So this 1 bit of damage could turn into something nasty. So D3 for damage. Oh, it's the full 3. So that is the sorcerer dead, as we thought he was going to live. And now that frees up that objective, there's nobody there. So this is just turned into a big old piston. Black Legion might just want to disappear back in the Eye of Terror here. So we're on to charges now. The jump packs have charged in, the captain's charged in, and so has the ancient. So you can actually get within an inch with the ancient, because you just go within the dip in between the 2 bases. So he's in as well. So it is good night Vienna. So we're going to do the captain. He's got 4 attacks and he's hitting on 2s. This captain's a super now. So he's hit with 3, he gets to reroll 1s. So he's hit with all of them now, and he's wounded on 4s. And he might just kill them all by himself. He's all wounded. 7 on 6s. Nothing short of a miracle here. We'll keep these alive. And no miracle here to be seen. So all the raptors are dead. And that is just so bad. It's just so bad. Alright, so the captain steps in, says step back boys, I'll show you how it's done. Just dispatches every single one, and they consolidate on 3 inches, every single one of them. So, yeah, all the Black Legion have got is this Forge Fiend. He's not really going to do much, he's not very good at killing infantry. Got this cultist squad, but they're too feeble to really fight back. And then this small portion here. There's no way, it was still on turn 4 here, so that we've still got 2 turns in the bag, but there's pretty much nothing I can do with it. After losing the sorcerer in that way, we've lost the safe objective. This one's up for contention. There's too many bodies. The way you score an objective is you hold it if you've got more models within 3 than your opponent. So of course I've only got 1 model, and there's a sea of blue there. We've got cultists here, they're never going to be able to wrestle that off, all those tacticals, they just simply can't do it. So there's no way we're actually going to get any objectives of our own, and the Ultramarines are pretty much scoring them all, and with that 3 points for the Warlord, there's just no fighting back. That was just a total handling of the Chaos forces. I guess we're not going to be setting out sail and taking over any portion of Ultramar at this rate. So that was pretty terrible from the Black Legion.
For Connor!